Today I am going to demonstrate the heart dissection, and we will follow the inflow-outflow tract dissection method for the cardiac dissection. Now I was hoping that we will get a fresh autopsy to demonstrate the same. However, due to COVID pandemic situation, we did not get an adult autopsy. So I am demonstrating the dissection on an already dissected heart. Now the first thing, when you remove the heart from the cardiac cavity, chest cavity, you see the shape of the heart and you remove from the lungs as close to the lungs as possible. After removal, you dissect out the great vessels, that is the aorta, and which has this right brachiocephalic trunk, the left subclavian and the left subcarotid artery over here. The shape of the heart is first thing to be noted. The apex is usually pointing towards the left, and this is the apex. These are the auricles, the right side and the left side here, and this is your left ventricle and this is your right ventricle. This is the arch of the aorta and the part of descending aorta, and this is the ascending aorta. Posteriorly, when we see here, this is the posterior interventricular septum. You have this pulmonary vein here, and then pulmonary artery like here, and then you also identify the apex. Now when we go with the inflow-outflow tract of the heart, we start with the inflow of the right side. So you identify the right auricle. So this is the right auricle. First of all, you palpate the right auricle to look for any thrombus, any discoloration, congestion. As we see here, this has been cut open to demonstrate the right auricular thrombus. So when we cut open the right inflow tract, so first cut we give is at the apex. So around say 1.5 centimeters above the apex. This is the modified inflow-outflow tract dissection method. This gives you a nice view of the base of the heart, which tells you about concentric left ventricular hypertrophy or any other abnormality at the level of apex. Then we give parallel slices either to the interventricular septum. Now we can also extend these slices laterally. I like it more laterally as compared to the parallel to IVS because it gives a better view of the ventricular cavity. So to open the inflow tract, we pass, after giving the apical cut, we pass a forceps through this cut till the right atrium, and we give a clean cut to the scalpel. A nice thick knife which gives a clean cut to the muscle and open up the right side of the ventricle. And with the scissors we open up the right atrium, and we identify the right atrium by this presence of musculae pectinate, the fossa ovalis and the coronary sinus. So this is the rough part of the right atrium and this is the smooth part of the right atrium. So we examine the right inflow tract and then we turn the heart anteriorly to look for the pulmonary artery. Now we all know that the pulmonary artery lies anterior to the aorta. So we separate the pulmonary artery from the aorta so that we don't cut through the aorta. And then again through the same cut we pass through the forceps into the pulmonary artery, and again with the knife we cut through the muscle like this. So it should be a clean sharp cut, and then with the scissors you cut open the pulmonary artery and you examine the valves of the pulmonary artery and any changes in the lumen of the pulmonary artery. Now once this is done, we note down the thickness of the right ventricle, which is usually measured around 1 centimeters below the pulmonary valve, and normally it measures around 0.5 centimeters. After doing this, we move on to the left side. So this is the interatrial septum. As we see here, this is the right side and this is the left side, and we open up the left atrium by joining the pulmonary veins. Two pulmonary veins we just open up here, and we examine the endocardium of the left atrium. Mostly the endocardium is the thickest on the left side, and as we say, there is some corrugation also due to some regurgitation effect. We examine the valves, that is the mitral valve, which is a bicuspid valve for its attachment, any commissural fusion, the chordae, and then we examine the left ventricular cavity. Now here we have to do another measurement, that is measuring the left ventricle wall thickness. So left ventricle wall thickness normally is ranging from 1.2 to 1.5 centimeters. Now here it is measuring around 1.8 centimeters, so telling us that it is hypertrophy. And we can also see a thrombus within the trabeculae. The differentiating feature between the left-sided trabeculations and the right-sided trabeculations is that on the right side they are much more coarser compared to the left side. Now once we are done with this, we again rotate the heart anteriorly and we retract the pulmonary artery. Again through the cut which we had given from the apex, we pass through our scalpel to the our aorta. This already, since it's already been cut, it's not really cut properly, but I'm just demonstrating that you pass through the scalpel into the aorta, and by the same method you cut through the knife the left ventricle and through the scissors the aorta, and that's how you open the left outflow tract like this. So you can examine the coronary sinuses, the right coronary in the center, as you see this lumen over here, the left coronary and the non-coronary sinus, and after that we dissect out the coronaries. The left coronary being divides within 1 centimeters of its origin, and we cut through the we take the scalpel in a pen holding manner and we cut through the coronaries at 5 millimeters level perpendicular to its lumen in this manner like this. And then we dissect the right coronary, which has the longest course and is the dominant artery in around 55 to 60% of cases, which has a maximum course around the atrioventricular sulcus, and it runs through the posterior anteventricular septum and also supplies a SA node. So this artery is dominant in around 55 to 60% of cases. Now after doing this, if we examine this area, we can see that there is the papillary muscle, the anterior papillary muscle appears quite pale and thickened. So this means that this papillary muscle is infarcted. So then you look for any other evidence of infarction. For that we go for cross LV, and if one had noticed that there was a pale area which was predominantly on the posterior wall extending into the septum of the heart, so there is an element of infarction which could be segmental, that has to be demonstrated by doing this short axis method. And we see here that there is subendocardial pale regions which are the scar, old healed myocardial infarction present in the left ventricle involving the posterior lateral wall. So we keep on dissecting this heart till the base of the surgical base of the heart to know the extent of the myocardial infarction. And we mention the myocardial infarction in terms of extent and the territorial distribution. So this infarction possibly is involving the right coronary artery instead of left coronary, or maybe a branch of left circumflex artery. So that is all about the, now this method, I combined two methods here because there was an infarction present over here, but normally we follow the inflow outflow tract method to dissect the heart. Thank you so much. I hope you would have got an idea, gross idea to dissect the heart. However, it has to be a practical demonstration. Heart dissection cannot be theoretical or through a video like this. Thank you so much for watching.